to the community situation in Southern California. Hello there, everybody. I'm Talking Tom. Alongside me, as always, is Talking Ben.
Tens of thousands of people have evacuated as a fast-moving wildfire threatened homes in the San Fernando Valley today, triggering the shutdown of schools and sections of the freeway.
In a separate brush fire in Riverside County yesterday, flames ravaged dozens of residents in a mobile home park.
NBC's Gotti Schwartz is on the front lines for us tonight.
In the foothills of Los Angeles, a wind-fueled firestorm racing through canyons and raining embers onto neighborhoods and prompting a non-stop battle with Mother Nature to keep flames at bay.
Here in the hills above Los Angeles, it is an all-out fight to protect these homes.
In the sky, a dangerous air attack swooping in just above the fiery ridges as some residents tried to join in the fight themselves while all others could do was pray.
Holy Mary, Mother of God!
The smoke and panic also spooking animals as 100,000 people rushed to evacuate. At one point, an NBC Los Angeles cameraman even rescuing a little puppy.
Come here. This is your dog, right? That's my dog. What's the name of the dog? There you go.
He was our puppy.
In all that chaos, two separate fires claiming 2 lives. One in the community of Cali Mesa, destroying more than 70 mobile homes. 100 miles west, the so-called Saddle Ridge fire starting in Sylmar, growing quickly by the mile and leaving family homes in ruin. The Moltani family watched their home of almost 30 years go up in flames.
Kids, children born here, you know, all the memories with the family.
But for every house destroyed, entire blocks are still standing.
They saved, like, my grandma's house up there, and thanks to them, you know, we're okay.
Those fortunate enough to be spared, grateful to the fire crews that stood their ground.
For me, those were the angels.
The firefighters were the angels.
Yes.
Tonight, the high winds out here continue to blow. These gusts are expected to last until tomorrow evening. And consider this, the fire here is still only 13% contained. And all of this is happening as we are now getting breaking news out of East Los Angeles of a fire threatening homes there as well.
Definitely going to keep our eye on that. Thank you. That is NBC News' Gary Schwartz on the scene here tonight.
Former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Marie Yovanovitch told congressional investigators today she was removed from her position because of pressure from President Donald Trump.
She also describes as unfounded and false claims about her, according to a copy of her statement obtained by the Washington Post and the New York Times.
NBC News' chief White House correspondent Hallie Jackson has more.
The former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine tonight putting her job on the line, defying State Department instructions not to testify to Congress. Marie Yovanovitch staying silent with NBC's Jeff Bennett.
What message do you hope to share with the House investigators today, ma'am?
But she is answering questions behind closed doors as lawmakers look to understand why she was suddenly yanked from her position in April and what she knows about Rudy Giuliani's work to dig up dirt on the Bidens in Ukraine. Giuliani, the president's personal attorney, has publicly acknowledged encouraging the president to fire Yovanovitch, who's still employed by the administration. In her scathing opening statement obtained by NBC News, Yovanovitch says the president pressured the State Department to pull her from her post, despite being told she had done nothing wrong.
Did you put pressure to have her fire the ambassador to Ukraine?
Well, she may be a wonderful woman. I don't know her.
Did you pressure them?
She may be very much a wonderful woman. If you remember the phone call I had with the president, the new president, he didn't speak favorably.
Yovanovitch testifying, I do not know Mr. Giuliani's motives for attacking me, but individuals who have been named in the press as contacts of Mr. Giuliani, likely referencing 2 recently indicted Giuliani associates, may well have believed that their personal financial ambitions were stymied by our anti-corruption policy in Ukraine. The president's political rival, Joe Biden, describing Giuliani as a thug at a fundraiser and excoriating the president's vision for the country as being as close to soulless as you can get. The battle lines drawn after the president got personal about the Bidens at his Minnesota rally overnight.
Hunter, you're a loser. And your father was never considered smart. He was only a good vice president because he understood how to kiss Barack Obama's.
And tonight, in a victory for House Democrats, a federal appeals court ruled the president's accounting firm must turn over his financial records, a decision all but certain to be appealed.
Yes, thank you. That is Hallie Jackson, NBC News' chief White House correspondent, reporting for us tonight.
The U.S. is coming to a very substantial Phase 1 deal with China in the high-stakes trade negotiations between the two economic superpowers, President Donald Trump said today.
Phase 2 will start almost immediately after the first phase is signed, Trump said in the Oval Office alongside Chinese Vice Premier Liu He.
The first portion of the trade deal will be written over the next 3 weeks, Trump said.
It will address intellectual property and financial services concerns, along with purchases of about $40 billion to $50 billion worth of agricultural products by China.
Asked about what changed between these trade negotiations and prior discussions, Trump said it's because this deal is bigger.
Some 100,000 people have fled their homes in North Syria, the UN reports, as Turkey presses on with its cross-border offensive on Kurdish-held areas.
Many people are sheltering in schools or other buildings in Hasakake City and the town of Tal Tamir, the UN says.
NBC News' chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel is in Syria tonight.
Despite growing international condemnation, Turkey isn't holding back, attacking U.S. allies, the Kurds in Syria, with artillery and airstrikes. Today, we made it to the Kurdish villages facing the brunt of the assault.
Here at the front lines, it is mostly deserted. The Kurds are trying to stay off these exposed roads. Behind you, behind you, behind you.
Multiple artillery rounds from the direction of Turkey exploded a few hundred yards behind us. We left and saw this car was hit, killing a man inside. It's easy to understand why 100,000 people have left this area, their numbers growing fast. We followed one family, leaving with nothing more than what's in the back of this pickup.
She said they don't know where they're going. They just are leaving the war zone. They said any place is better than there.
Many of the Kurds are flocking to schools away from the front lines. Everyone now living in this one just arrived today. And this, the Kurds say, is the point of Turkey's offensive, to drive them off their land and replace them with Arab refugees who support Turkey. This woman yelled that President Trump is responsible for what will be a genocide by giving Turkey the green light, pulling back U.S. forces.
The president says he gave no green light, and tonight warning Turkey.
If Turkey does something that they shouldn't be doing, we will put on sanctions the likes of which very few countries have ever seen before.
And there's another danger tonight inside these ISIS detention camps holding tens of thousands of prisoners. This new video, Kurdish officials say, is of an attempted prison break that they successfully stopped. But they're warning there will be more, with security reduced since Kurdish fighters are heading to the front lines.
And tonight, U.S. troops here are also at risk. Multiple Turkish shells exploded near a U.S. base. No Americans were hurt, but they had to pull back for safety.
Some frightening stuff there. Anyways, thank you. That is Richard Engel, NBC's chief foreign correspondent, live in northern Syria tonight. The Pentagon will deploy 1,800 more troops to Saudi Arabia in response to requests by the leading U.S. military commander in the Middle East.
And in part because the U.S. Navy is unable to send a relief aircraft carrier to deter potential Iranian aggression.
The move comes as President Donald Trump's decision to pull back U.S. military forces from Syria has prompted criticism from lawmakers who say the president has given Turkey an opening.
And it follows a Thursday tweet from Trump decrying U.S. involvement in the Middle East, in which he said that going into the Middle East is the worst decision ever made.
He added that we are slowly and carefully bringing our great soldiers and military home.
Steering us away from world news for a little bit, you may have noticed that we have gotten a ticker added to the bottom of your screen.
This is an attempt to stay current with most newscasts in this time period.
In addition, it is the first step in a major event for Talking Tom Band News that TB501 Productions has planned for us.
And we want to hear from you whether this ticket should stay on a newscast or not. Let us know in the comment section of this video. Hello there, everybody. Talking Ginger here. It is time for our first look at your weather forecast. Well, enjoy these pleasant temperatures that we have right now while they can, because I am tracking some big pattern changes in the coming days. And these pattern changes will bring our temperatures down to below normal, and with it, our chance of some first flakes of the season. So I have that plus our Sunday forecast coming up. Thank you, Chunky Ginger. We will have your 7-day forecast coming up in a little bit. Also coming up, the FAA is under fire for certification of the Boeing 737 MAX. Details on that.
Also, vaping health concerns continue to be an issue. We'll have that, plus your weather forecast with Talking Ginger and your sports reports, all after the break.
Halloween, it's alive at Party City. We've got all your favorite costumes like Star Wars, Toy Story, Avengers, and we've got costumes from just $9.99. Party City, oh, it's on.
The way you make life magical. The way you step up your style with new fall arrivals. The way you light up every place you go. That's something to love. Fall for you at JCPenney.
Welcome back. A newly released report faults both the Federal Aviation Administration and Boeing for failures in the overall certification of the Boeing 737 MAX.
The Joint Authority's technical review released today finds Boeing failed to explain thoroughly how much the MCAS system, the anti-stealth software at the heart of two deadly crashes, had been changed from previous plane models.
NBC's Tom Costello has more.
7 months after Boeing's 737 MAX was grounded, an independent investigation has found the FAA itself was not fully aware of a new system on the plane that contributed to 2 fatal crashes. And the FAA delegated a high percentage of approvals, allowing Boeing to certify much of its own work. Former NTSB Chairman Chris Hart led the investigation. This plane was approved, and the FAA apparently never understood the new technologies.
Right, they didn't know all of the nuances that they needed to know as the technology became more complex.
The report is scathing, finding an inadequate number of FAA specialists were involved in the certification process. Some FAA engineers had limited experience and knowledge of key technical aspects of the plane, and it resulted in an inability of the FAA to provide an independent assessment of Boeing's activities.
I welcome the scrutiny. The agency welcomes the scrutiny.
The new FAA chief talked to us before the report's release. Is it possible that too much authority was delegated to Boeing?
It's possible. We'll have to see. I haven't made a decision on that yet.
Congress long ago ordered the FAA to work with manufacturers to expedite certifications. Tonight, Boeing tells NBC News it's committed to working with the FAA in reviewing the recommendations. Also today, United Airlines joined American and Southwest in taking the MAX out of its fleet until January at the earliest. That's assuming the FAA reapproves the plane for flight. That means no U.S. airline will fly the MAX over Christmas.
We'll be watching that. Thank you. That is Tom Costello of NBC News reporting tonight.
Kevin McAleenan, the acting Secretary of Homeland Security since April, and the 4th person to fill that post since the Trump presidency began, submitted his resignation to the White House today.
A source familiar with McAleenan's thinking tells CNN that the acting secretary felt he had accomplished all he could given the political realities of today, specifically the unlikelihood that any legislative deal on immigration will happen in an election year.
And with the numbers of undocumented immigrants apprehended or turned away in the border coming down for the 4th consecutive month, the lack of crisis is dissuading members of Congress to act and compromise.
McAleenan also has 2 young daughters and a wife with whom he wants to spend more time.
There are 1,299 lung injury cases associated with e-cigarette products in 49 states, the District of Columbia, and the U.S. Virgin Islands as Tuesday, according to the CDC.
That's an increase from last week when there were 1,080 cases of vaping-related lung injuries reported in 48 states and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
The CDC on Thursday also identified 26 vaping-related deaths in 21 states.
Talking Ginger here. It is time for your full weather forecast. Well, we are experiencing above normal temperatures for the time being, but that is going to change come this weekend. Major changes to the temperature will begin as early as Sunday morning as the pattern changes. Temperature highs will be dropping to the pluses, the plus single digits, and the temperature lows will be dropping into the minus single digits. In addition, there is a good chance of a few flurries next week, with the best chance being Tuesday. Well, that does it for your weather forecast, and I have a major announcement to make about my sports reports. Starting today, my sports reports have been moved over to my personal blog, Talking Ginger Sports Reports. You can find that page on the Talking News website. And that will do it for me, Talking Ginger. Now back to you. Thank you, Talking Ginger. Finally, Talking TV's contract with Talking Tom Men News has been renewed for an extra year.
This means that you will be seeing Talking Tom Men News on Talking TV through 2020.
And we think that's some good news to share with you. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Remember, you can find all the latest news, information, and sports by going to our website at TalkingNews.com. Until next time, good night.